Um, Everyone, welcome to the meeting of the Committee on Public Services. Madam Clerk, could you call the roll, please?
Member is acknowledging that they are attending the meeting via Zoom, that they are located in Wayne County, Michigan, unless otherwise stated when I call your name. Commissioner Varga. She just logged in. Commissioner Varga. Commissioner Palomera.
Here in Charlevoix County.
Thank you. Commissioner Kinlock. Commissioner Haddis.
Present.
Commissioner Baydoun.
Here.
Commissioner Daub.
Here, I'm in South Haven, Michigan.
Thank you. Commissioner Marecki.
Here.
Commissioner Varga, are you in now?
Yes, I am. Thank you. Here.
Thank you. You have a quorum present.
Okay, thank you. Next item.
B, Chairwoman's remarks.
I have none. Thank you.
C, approval of July 27, 2021 meeting minutes.
So moved.
Support.
Okay, we have an approval and support. Anybody have any questions, comments about the meeting minutes from last time? Okay, all those in favor of passing these, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next item, please.
D, unfinished business. Item 1, requesting commission approval of amendments to the Wayne County Stormwater Management Ordinance and Administrative Rules.
Okay, as you may recall, we discussed this last time, but we had such a full agenda. So it was suggested that we bring it back to this next meeting. And Patrick, do you want to start us off with anything just to update real quick since it's been a couple weeks?
Sure. Good
Very
morning,
quickly.
Commissioner. Good morning to all the committee members. Patrick Cullen, Department of Public Services, Environmental Services Division. Just as a brief recap of what we talked about 2 weeks ago at the last meeting, the county is amending its existing stormwater ordinance and administrative rules. And we're doing so in response to changing regulations, both at the federal and state level, and also as a compliance item in the county's own MS4 permit, which regulates how the county manages stormwater out of its own system. The ordinance and rules took more than 2 years to develop. We did so in concert on a committee that included Oakland, Macomb, and Livingston counties, where we adopted a very similar set of standards to try to make a uniform set that was identifiable to developers and municipalities that are doing development and redevelopment projects throughout the region. We consider this we also consider the revised ordinance rules very critical piece to flood control in Wayne County. And stormwater rules and ordinance aren't the only answer when it comes to, how do we mitigate flood damage and future flooding incidents. But it is an important piece. And in Wayne County, the rules and ordinances are going to be applied to future developments, and where the real improvement that we're going to see is in the redevelopment of older sites. We're not going to see 5 square acres like we used to build a Kmart of unpaved, of impervious surface. Our rules and standards are going to allow for green infrastructure and development in a way that's both supportive of economic development, but also protective of the county's assets and protective of all of the downstream residents and businesses that are impacted by stormwater flow and runoff. The group worked very hard at striking that balance between economic development, environmental protection, and flood control. And I don't think we need to tell anybody today the importance of the flood control aspect of what the rules and ordinance offer as we move forward. So I'm happy to, I've got our team here, Noel Mullett, Patricia Moore, Jim Jernigan. We're all here to answer any questions that the commission might have.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for that recap, and thank you all for being here. Do any of the commissioners have questions? I see Melissa, Commissioner Dobbs has her hands up. Go ahead, Melissa.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My question is, so the county has this stormwater ordinance, and can the local municipalities develop their own ordinance but they can't do anything that would violate the county ordinance? Is that correct?
That's right. And the way that it's written and the way that our previous ordinance and administrative rules have been written is in a way to encourage local municipalities to adopt our standards as their own. And in our conversation with most municipalities, that's actually the approach that they would prefer to take. Where they're, and then it helps us too, because they're actually, as they do the review of their own local municipality projects, they're already ensuring compliance with the county standards as well.
Okay. In the past, has it been do they usually just adopt our own ordinance, or do they get creative and make their own?
No, typically they will adopt it, verbatim almost. Now the exception is, I should point out, a big exception is the city of Detroit that has its own MS4 permit and has implemented its own standards through DWSD. And our standards are nearly identical in terms of jurisdiction as DWSD's. So there is a little bit of a variance between Wayne County and the city of Detroit and what Oakland, Macomb, and Livingston are doing in terms of jurisdiction. We've included any site that's a ½ acre or more of impervious surface development as part of our standards. And so we're consistent with Detroit on that front.
Okay, great. Great, thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay. All right, great. Commissioner Palomero.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll move approval.
Okay.
Support.
Okay. Commissioner Haddis, did you?
Yes, I have a question to Mr. Collin. I know all the city comply with the ordinance of Wayne County, even if they have some different in certain area. But my question always, if some of the city enhancing their flow and increasing the capacity, is Wayne County's capacity up to that task? Or we work on those capacity, county and cities?
Yeah, so that's kind of a complicated question, Commissioner Haddis. I think one of the challenges, and I mentioned this last time, that we're seeing storms over the last 10 to 20 years that are providing 20-25% or more volume of water in a shorter period of time. And regardless of if it's a county asset or a local municipal asset, many of our developments were not built to handle that volume of water. What the new standards do is provide a baseline moving forward that is going to provide that's going to improve capacity moving forward. And the more redevelopment we do in Wayne County, the more capacity we're going to have downstream for holding back stormwater, especially in these big storm events.
So, and the bottom line is how much money we have to enhance the capacity, really. I know you have a tough job, but you're up to the task, I know, and the team. It's a good team, but I'm mentioning this because the infrastructure money from the federal should address the sewage capacity in big time. And we need to be a little bit ahead of the curve. And I hope the commission, the administration, all municipality all together push to address that issue. It's money you spend, people don't see, it's under the ground. But we see what happened last time with a few inches of water. and the capacity it show, it's no near half of what it was. That's why I want to voice my opinion to that issue. And before I finish, I want to tell you, Randall Miller, say hello to you. From Sumter Township, I've been dealing with him on the high weed and cocktail. So, but he mentioned you, and everybody mentioned you in a good way. So, thank you.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, Commissioner Hannah. Not everybody does that, but that's nice to hear.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah,
I have who?
I raised my hand, but I can wait. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. I didn't even
Thank
see
you.
your hand because this thing keeps coming down on my screen. So the top people I can't see. Go ahead, Sam.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioner Dobb touched on this a little bit. I want to elaborate a little bit more. Patrick, so we have 43 communities in Wayne County, and obviously we have a flooding problem whenever we get those 100-year rains that we've been getting in the last 4 or 5 years. So I think moving forward, this is a regional problem. I think all the communities in Wayne County should adopt our standards in Wayne County so we're all on the same page. I mean, for example, we can't have certain standards for Wayne County and then we have different standards for Hamtramck or Dearborn or Allen Park, for example. So, I mean, what can you tell us? I mean, are the cities going to be objecting to our Wayne County standards, or will they follow our standards in light of all these recent floodings? I mean, all of us have to be on the same page, right?
Yeah, I completely agree, Commissioner. And so all of the local municipalities, most, if not all of them, also have their own what's known as an MS4 permit, which is a state and federal permit to manage their own assets that they own. And they also have to have standards in place to be compliant with that permit. They're all waiting for ours to get passed, frankly, so that they can move forward and adopt our standards as their own and be compliant with their own permits. So we do expect to see standardization through most, if not all, communities in Wayne County. And then to speak earlier, I couldn't agree more with you about this being a regional problem. I think everyone recognizes this as a regional problem. And also, everybody recognizes that everybody has to be at the table, talking about their own systems and making improvements to their own systems moving forward. I mean, if there's any good that came out of these two really terrible flood incidents we've had over the last 6 weeks or so, it's that, personally, I've seen more attention, on the issue, and what I hope and trust is going to be follow through moving forward on addressing this problem on a regional basis.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you. Thank you, Patrick.
Commissioner Dobb.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just thought of one more quick question for Patrick. Oh gosh, did I forget it? If a developer does not comply with our ordinance, who is responsible for inspecting, and what happens? Are they fined? Are they forced to go back and redo the work so that they are, in compliance with the ordinance?
Yeah. So
and then do we have enough people? If it's our responsibility to inspect that work, do we have enough people on staff to do that?
So the first part of that question, I'm going to defer to either Jim Jernigan or Patricia Moore, who are with me, because I know they worked very, very hard, especially with commission staff, on the enforcement provisions of the ordinance and rules. Jim or Patricia, did you want to tackle that end of it?
Sure. Yeah, no problem. Thanks, Patrick. Good morning, Commissioner Dobb and everybody else, Madam Chair. So in the process of a developer applying for its permit for a development of substantial size to qualify, they have to submit their plans, and our department approves the plans, assuming they're compliant with what we need them to do. Into your specific question, if they are non-compliant as their construction continues, there is an enforcement mechanism within the ordinance that actually is very similar to what's in the current ordinance. We just kind of moved the deck chairs on the Titanic a little bit to shift exactly how things are done. And there is a series of progressive steps that the county can take in order to comply, or in order to force compliance of the developer to comply with its permit. And the first step is a simple verbal counseling to say, hey, listen, you're non-compliant in this respect, or these X number of respects. And that goes all the way to, if we had to, filing a lawsuit to terminate their permit and enforce our ordinance as it's written. That is extremely rare. And in fact, doing a very informal survey of ESD staff as well as DPS staff, nobody can even remember an incident where that had to happen. The vast majority of matters are resolved with a phone call or a meeting to say, hey, these are the things you need to do to comply. And again, the vast majority of the time, it's not a huge issue. But there are those mechanisms in place to allow that to occur if we have to.
Okay.
And then to your other question, Commissioner Dobb, about, I think you asked, do we have enough people to inspect and do this? We do have a staff that does inspection of active construction sites on various programs. We also have vacancies that we're in the process of filling as well. One of the things, and beyond even the stormwater ordinance, our overall MS4 permit with the county has a number of new tasks that we're required to do. We're actually really excited to get working on them. We're sufficiently staffed today, and we are filling a couple of key vacancies to help out moving forward.
Okay, great. Good to hear. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay. Patrick, this is going to be on the meeting of August 19th, if it comes out of committee today. When will these rules begin then?
So, Jim, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the rules take effect upon commission approval. That's my understanding. We are working with, obviously there's going to be a little bit of a gap between the approval of the new rules and we're working with our permit review staff and our permit engineers to implement the new standards into the review. They've already started some preliminary work on that end. We have OHM's working with us, to do, they worked on the standards. They're also working with us to do staff training immediately upon approval. So we're looking probably within a couple of months after the commission approves that we'll implement the standards. We have been talking to people as they come in with permit applications so that they're aware of what the new standards, and what we've been saying up to this point is, if you get your permit application, prior to commission approval, it's going to be under the old standards.
Okay. Okay, that's good to know.
Madam Chair, to that point.
Yes, Felicia, I just saw your hand. Go ahead.
And I would have to double check, but generally our ordinances are not effective upon approval. We tend to give time for CEO's veto powers and other legal things to take place. So at minimum, I try to do 15 days. I don't remember if I did 15 or 30 here, but if the department has some concerns with that, they can let me know and we can potentially revise that prior to full board. But I don't think I did upon commission approval for this, and I'm pretty sure I changed it. I just can't recall to what I changed it to. So Jim, if you need to reach out to me, we can have that discussion prior to full board and potentially have it revised.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And before I go to you, Commissioner Varga, Jim, could you introduce yourself formally for the record?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Jim Jernigan, attorney for the Department of Public Services.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Commissioner Varga.
Thank you. So are we going to let the locals know by email, or how are we going to communicate with them that this is going to be changing?
So we have been in communication with the locals throughout this entire process, Commissioner Varga. And after today, we are going to be reaching out via email to all of our stakeholders and contacts to let them know that the approval of the new ordinance and rules is imminent. And some of them will be following up with phone calls in addition to emails as well.
Yeah, I was happy to bring my locals, make sure they knew all about this. So, any other questions from anyone? We have an approval by Commissioner Palomera and a support by Commissioner Haydes. There are no other questions. Thank you, everyone, for being here. And Madam Clerk, could you call a voice roll on this?
Commissioner Varga,
Yes.
Commissioner Palomera,
Yes.
Commissioner Kinlock, Commissioner Hadis,
Yes.
Commissioner Baydoun,
Sorry about that. I was muted. Yes.
Commissioner Dobb,
Yes.
Chairman Recky.
Yes. Motion passes. Next item.
Item 1, under new business, communication from the Department of Public Services forwarding the Commission's Community Parks millage allocations and the Wayne County Parks millage capital plan.
Okay. Questions on this?
Move to receive and file?
Yes. Actually, the next two are receiving files. The first one's about the parks allocations
I'll
and.
move to receive and file items 1 and 2.
Okay.
Support.
And the second one's on the completion status of the road repairs pertaining to the township paving program. Any questions on these two items?
Do we
Okay.
receive and file number 3?
No. Number 3, did you say?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
No, just numbers 1 and 2.
Okay.
Yeah, that's 3 is the contract. Okay, if there's no questions or comments, all those in favor of receiving and filing, did we get a support on that, Madam Clerk?
Yes.
Yes, we had Dobb and Baydoun.
Okay, sorry about that. All right, all those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, items number 1 and 2 pass. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Item 3, requesting commission approval of a contract with the Michigan Department of Transportation.
Okay, this is for improvements Edward Hines Drive, south of the Ann Arbor Trail.
I will
Dearborn.
move approval for my neighboring city.
Okay,
Support.
Support.
all right. We have an approval by Commissioner Baydoun, supported by Commissioner Hadis. Any questions on this? Act 51 funds. Okay, Madam Clerk, could you call the roll?
Commissioner Varga,
Yes.
Commissioner Palomera,
Yes.
Commissioner Hadis,
Yes.
Commissioner Baydoun,
Yes.
Commissioner Dobb,
Yes.
Chairman Recky.
Sorry, I'm coughing. Yes, motion passes. Next item.
Item 4, requesting commission approval of a 3-year contract with the option to renew with Alfred, Venetian Company.
Okay. This is for
Move-
engineering,
move approval.
right?
Support.
Okay. We have an approval by Commissioner Vargas, supported by Commissioner Baydoun. Any questions on this? Okay, all good stuff. Madam Clerk, could you call the roll?
Commissioner Varga,
Yes.
Commissioner Palomera,
Yes.
Commissioner Hadis,
Yes.
Commissioner Baydoun,
Yes.
Commissioner Dobb,
Yes.
Chairman Recky.
Yes, motion passes. Next item.
Item 5, requesting commission approval of a cooperative agreement with Leslie Tire Service.
Okay,
Move for approval.
Support.
Alicia, do you have anything to say about this item? Felicia, not Alicia. There's Alicia's and Felicia's, I mean Felicia.
Oh, Madam Chair,
Yes.
so as indicated in the analysis, we pointed out an issue that we thought that committee members should be aware of. So for this, I'm sorry, for this particular purchase, it was a cooperative purchase through My Deal. which means that the county did not bid it, but we relied on the bidding and solicitation process of the state, under which we purchased through the cooperative, which theoretically allows the state to leverage a better price because municipalities throughout the state would use the co-op. So in this case, the state bid, they qualified several vendors for this particular purchase. So when the county went to use the co-op, they had several options because there were several vendors who were qualified. And so when we asked, how did they select among the qualified vendors, there appeared to be no process. And so they simply selected for various reasons, and you can read their responses in our analysis, Leslie Tire, who is our understanding is not located in Wayne County, but there were other vendors who were qualified on that list who were located in Wayne County. So this is an area that our procurement ordinance doesn't discuss, right? Our procurement ordinance talks about cooperative purchases, but it doesn't get into the detail of what happens if there are 20, 30, or 40 vendors qualified throughout the state. How does the county then pick amongst those vendors to do business for Wayne County? So this is something that we wanted to point out to the committee. It's something that we've noticed several times since we noticed it in this instance. And we just wanted to bring it to your attention.
Okay, I appreciate that. And I did read all the responses. I'm wondering if someone from the administration would like to tell us why Leslie Tire was selected.
Morning, Madam Chair. This is Derek Coley, Director of Equipment Division.
Good morning.
Good morning. As far as the details of how the procurement process works with the state, I can't speak to that, but I can speak to the fact that previously we had contracted or the vendor was Bell Tire. They were bought out by Tread Rock. Bell Tire was here or is here in Wayne County. They're not far from us here. Unfortunately, we had consistent problems with availability with them. Their pricing was not accurate on many occasions. Right now, Leslie Tire is the current vendor that we use, or the contract is with them. We have had no problems with service. They are very responsive to our emails. Their inventory is great. In fact, when we compare just a cursory comparison compared to what Bell Tire was able to do for us, Leslie Tire is far more responsive. They are less of a drain on our resources with phone calls and follow-up and back orders and things like that. So as far as the division of equipment is concerned, we are very happy with Leslie Tire now. We would have no problems moving forward with them.
Okay, so are you saying that even though Bell Tire was in the My Deal group, their pricing varied from what they used to bid on?
Madam Chair, I believe that was a lot of what we dealt with was related to Tread Rock becoming their parent company. Okay. We don't know if it was their practices. We don't know if it was bait and switch or just that their people who were in their billing offices didn't really know how to pull up the pricing sheets that were valid under My Deal. We have no idea, but there were several pricing corrections that we had to pursue. And then we've had Leslie Tire and we haven't had any problems since.
Okay. All right. Thank you to both of you for getting in here. Commissioners, any questions?
Madam Chair?
Yes, go ahead.
One quick question. Is there anyone, any owner or, associate of Leslie Tire who would possibly have a conflict of interest with, or a conflict of interest with Wayne County? Is there like any past relationships that we might find if we dig into it, that could be the reason that company was picked? I don't know who I'm directing this question to, but does anyone know?
Hello, Madam Chair, Michelle Yancey. DPS admin. Not to our knowledge, when they complete the ethics form, they disclose if there's any association with the county, with any members or employees of Leslie Tires. And I don't believe there was any check marks to state that there were any employees or relationships between the county and Leslie Tires outside of this contract.
Okay. Okay, thank you. That's all I had. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anything else? All right, we have an approval by Commissioner Hattis and supported by Commissioner Palomera. Madam Clerk, could you call the roll?
Commissioner Varga,
Yes.
Commissioner Palomera, Commissioner Palomera. Let me check and see if he's still on. Can anyone see him?
Let's see.
I
Yes,
vote
he's
yes,
still-
I'm sorry.
Commissioner Hattis,
Yes.
Commissioner Baydoun,
Yes.
Commissioner Dobb,
Yes.
Chair Mareki.
Yes, motion passes. Next item.
Item 6, requesting commission approval of a 3-year contract with the 1-year option to renew with Alfred Venetian Company.
Okay, it's for bridge work again. Any questions on this?
Yes, I have one question, Madam Chair.
Yes, go ahead.
Do we, can we not do this in-house? Are we just so understaffed, or is this something that we, like, why are we contracting out of house for bridge managers?
Anyone here to answer that? Anyone?
Um,
Oh,
Ron
there we go.
Agasinski, Wayne County Engineering.
Thanks, Ron. Go ahead.
Yeah, due to the requirements of the Federal Highway Association, bridge managers now have to be specifically trained. They have to be professional engineers. They have to be specifically trained in courses that are run by EMDOT. They have to have a number of years as working underneath a previous bridge program manager until they become fully accredited as a program manager.
Okay,
the
and we just don't have that.
No, the
We don't have
requirements
any of
have
those.
escalated increasingly due to the bridges that have been failing around the country.
Okay. All right, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yeah, good question. Anyone else? Okay, I don't think we have a direction on this.
I'll move
Okay,
for
all
approval.
Support.
right. We have an approval by Commissioner Dobb, supported by Commissioner Hattis. Madam Clerk, could you call the roll?
Commissioner Varga,
Yes.
Commissioner Palomera,
Yes.
Commissioner Hattis,
Yes.
Commissioner Baydoun,
Yes.
Commissioner Dobb,
Yes.
Chair Mareki.
Yes, motion passes. Next item.
Item 7, requesting commission approval of an intergovernmental agreement with the Township of Redford.
Okay, this is for the Parks Millage for Redford.
Move to approve.
Okay,
Support.
all right, we have an approval and support. Any questions? Okay, Madam Clerk, could you call the roll?
Commissioner Varga,
Yes.
Commissioner Palomera,
Yes.
Commissioner Hattis,
Yes.
Commissioner Baydoun,
Yes.
Commissioner Dobb,
Yes.
Chair Mareki.
Yes, motion passes. Next item.
F, such other matters as may be properly submitted before the committee.
Okay, none that I'm aware of. Next item.
Public comments.
Okay, Madam Clerk, have we received any emails?
No, we have not received any emails.
All right, could you unmute everyone?
Lines have been unmuted.
Okay, is there anyone from the public that would like to address the Committee on Public Services? If there's anyone there, they can just chime in, introduce themselves. Anyone from the public? Okay, hearing none. Next item.
So moved to
Adjournment.
adjourn.
Okay. All right. We have an
Support.
approval and a support. We are now adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
You
Bye-bye.
welcome.